Hey girls, what's shaking? Hopefully your booty. So today I have just come back from the gym and I did a glute and back workout, and I want to share with you what I did with my glutes specifically when using my band. So you may have seen me use this around quite a bit of times. This is my medium fit booty body band, which I love. And I just gotta say, before I get into the exercises and the tips that I wanna share with you today, when I first started using this band, it was really, really difficult for me. Like, I was frustrated and I didn't wanna do certain exercises with it because I just thought maybe the band was broken, you know? I was like, oh, I just can't seem to open my legs as wide as I'd like to when using this, or I just didn't get the range that I wanted to. And that was because my glutes weren't strong or as strong as I would have wanted them to be. And when you just continually persevere and work through the exercises that are hard, you do get stronger. It does get easier, I promise you, and it is so, so, so rewarding. Like, I just think about it now. I look about how much I've transformed, how much my muscles have just changed. They've just really gotten stronger, and I'm like, wow, those exercises before were way hard. I couldn't even do them with a proper range of motion, and now it's like I can. So just want to let you know, keep trying, don't stop, and if you really want it, you will get better at it, I promise. So let's get into it. I'm going to be going over some exercises using this band. Make sure your volume's up, make sure your eyes are tuned in, watching the screen, and I hope these tips that I'm sharing with you today are really helpful. I go over a lot of these exercises from time to time because commonly I think a lot of people do mistakes. And if you're doing mistakes and you're not feeling the right muscles work, you're obviously not getting as good of a workout as you like. And well, we really want to work that peach to our full potential. So tune in and let's give this a go. So the first exercise I want to share with you guys today is the banded squats. So this was a really good one to do today. It really woke up my booty muscles, and especially before I do weighted squats, I like to do a few banded squats because it just helps wake everything up. Now, a common thing I see when people are doing squats, as I'm showing here, is the knees start to cave in, or people only squat as low or as wide as the band is, and that defeats the whole purpose of using the band. You actually need to really focus on stretching out that band. And when you stretch out that band, you're gonna feel your side booty muscles engage, which is your glute medius. And it is such a good feeling to have that muscle work because that really helps you stabilize. And when your glutes are stabilizing better, that means you're gonna get better booty burn overall. And that means your glute max muscle, the big chunky part, can work better too. So that's a big part as to why I like to warm up with banded squats. And I did 20 reps of these and I did 2 sets. And then I went on to some weighted squats afterwards. Then I went into banded glute bridges. So with banded glute bridges, you want to follow the same principles that you do when you're doing your squats, meaning you don't let the knees cave in. You actually make an effort to push your knees open against the band. This constantly will create tension on your glutes as you're doing that beautiful scoop. And when you do that scoop, you might want to notice my hips here. I'm really scooping up as if I'm taking ice cream out of a jar, which is creating a beautiful posterior pelvic tilt, which we want to aim for, which will help you engage your glutes more effectively rather than not paying attention to that tilt, which would cause you to maybe keep your back neutral or maybe have an arch, which over the long run will maybe cause more tension in your lower back, more tension in your hamstrings, and we really want to focus on feeling our glute muscles here. And when it comes to foot position, you want to make sure that your feet aren't too far away from your fingertips when your hands are spread out. You may move it forward or back just a tad, but you want to make sure that it's not too far out, because if your legs or feet are placed too far out, you feel more hamstrings rather than glutes. Then after doing my glute bridges, I went into deadlifts, and I did cable deadlifts today. So you can obviously mix up your deadlifts between dumbbells, barbells, cables, whatever it is, but sometimes just changing a little bit of an equipment is a good way to shock up your muscles. So I haven't done cable deadlifts in a while, so today was all about that. And when performing deadlifts, it's really important that you keep those hips pushed back, and you still also make an effort to push your knees out as if you are wearing a band. Not a whole lot, but just a little bit of a push out really, really does help. And of course, making sure that you scoop those hips up, as you can tell that I'm doing, because if you avoid that scoop, what can happen is you can start using your back, and you don't want to do that. You want to make sure it's all glute action happening there. Then I went into kickbacks. So I was going to do some cable kickbacks, but before doing cable kickbacks, I wanted to do some banded ones just to warm things up, make sure my mind muscle connection was happening with that type of motion. So sometimes before you do an exercise with weight, it's important to do it with body weight or a band just to get things fired up the way we want to. And it also helps prepare our body for what's coming next, because obviously using weight makes it harder. And when doing kickbacks, whether you're using a band or a cable, you want to make sure that you're not arching your back again, you're being nice and controlled. So here for the cable kickbacks, you can use a cable ankle grip if you want, or you can also use a handle, as I've just kind of put my foot into. And it does sometimes take a little bit of foot grip positioning before you get that, but give it a try. You will notice it works out really nice. And when it comes to kickbacks, I like to sometimes use the handle there because I can really focus on pushing it away. And again, I'm also holding the bars in front of me for support, so you can do that too. And nice and smooth and controlled here. Inhaling as you bring your knee in, and then exhaling as you kick out, and really thinking about that heel as you do it. And of course, try your best as well to pause for a second at the top. And to finish off, I did clams. I did 2 different variations, 10 reps of simple 45-degree clamshells with my heels together. And then I also did it with a space in between my thighs the whole time, which you'll see in just a second. When you're doing 45-degree clamshells, if you're not experienced with it and it's quite difficult just doing it with your body weight alone, stick with that. Otherwise, add the band, or if you actually just don't feel your glutes at all when you do it, add the band, and then that will hopefully wake things up. And also just make sure you really squeeze those heels together. You have a bit of a space in between your obliques or side love handles, you might like to call them, at the bottom there. You know, about that bit of a gap. And that will prevent you from using your obliques or your top obliques from doing the work when performing the clamshell, because sometimes it can be so hard to do it that we compensate that way. I do have other videos which explain that in detail in case that does mix you up a bit. And then again, here is the open clams, which I did 10 reps of, and yes, there was a big burn there.